Hey everybody, welcome to Geek Addicts.
Hello and welcome to Geek Addicts, the pop culture podcast where we watch Christmas specials that range from wholesome to traumatizing. I'm Matt. This is Bill. How's it going, Bill?
It's going. It's the time you're hearing this. It's Christmas, so Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate, everybody. But for us, it's the first week of December, and holy shit, it's already. I can't believe we're almost here.
Yeah, right. We've been doing a lot of kind of just categorizing and being like, all right, we got this much for this person, this much for that person, and we were going through our the gifts that we bought, we had them all in front of us. We were writing down lists and saying all right, this is what we got for this person and that person, whatever. And we were looking at the list, and Cindy was like, I feel like this is favoritism or something, because Frankie had this big long list. It was 15 things, and then Xander was over here with 4 things, and I'm like, I understand what you're saying, and we're gonna round that number out. But you also got to figure Xander's 13. He wants more expensive shit. We got most of Frankie's shit at 5 below. It's fine.
See that it's more parents worry about that kind of stuff, but it's also once kids get older, they understand, because the older you get, you want fucking video games or some crazy shit like that, and that shit's expensive.
Exactly what I got him.
Exactly what I got him. Kids don't realize. I mean, I feel bad nowadays because fucking video games are almost $100 fucking, and that's gonna be bad in the future.
That's why we get him. That's why we get secondhand shit. Or in Xander's case this year, I got him the same Anbernic that I have, along with a case and an SD card to go with. I still need to take some time to fucking actually load it up with a bunch of stuff. I loaded up a lot of stuff onto it, but not everything I have. I don't know if there are some games in particular that he wants for it, or he wants to play in general. Rather, he doesn't know he's getting it, but that's something I got to work on.
Yeah, I mean, I always think about it in the way I remember the year the DS came out, and it was sure, you got other stuff, but let's face it, the DS was probably the thing that you cared about most at that point. I remember, I think I was glued to that damn thing the entire Christmas vacation. So
I think that year, I don't think I got a DS for Christmas. I think a few months later, a friend of mine gave me his old, you know what? I think it was after the DS Lite came out, and he gave me his old bulky one after that.
See, I just remember the DS is the one that always kind of sticks to me, because that was the DS was such a weird turning point for gaming in a lot of ways. Because I vaguely remember the GBA days.
So the GBA, I lived out the GBA days for a long time. And fuck, I still play GBA games all the time.
I play them more now than I did back then, which is kind of sad. I played more GBA on my DS, which is crazy.
I mean, that was just kind of a natural transition thing. It's when they add that extra backwards compatibility with the DS, it was kind of just a given. And that's why the DS became the standard for a while, because it had that.
I was so annoyed you couldn't play Game Boy Color games on it.
That's exactly where I was going with that. Yeah, I still, that's why I always like to have a Game Boy as well. I usually an SP. But I just got to a point eventually, after my last one broke, I was just whatever.
Yeah.
Well, now I have the Anbernic, so it's completely unnecessary to have one. But I mean, the nostalgia of it alone would be kind of cool, but
see,
I'm not gonna go out of my way to pay over $100 for a refurbished SD or fucking SP. And
I'll still pull out the original GBA or the Game Boy Color every now and then. And every time I boot those things up, I'm always like, how did we live with this? The unbacklit screen and all that stuff, batteries. I'm I actually still have a worm light for anyone who remembers the worm light. And
I don't think I had one. I was one of those kids who like we're taking like late night drives like back home or whatever from wherever we were, and I'd be waiting for like when we stop at the stoplights or when we pass over street lights to
it
fucking
was
like
the
try to
worst.
get an attack in a Pokemon.
Playing games in the backseat of the car like this, like just to get that one spot where you can kind of see the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
Oh yeah.
How did we live? Like, how did we do it? Put up with that shit?
Like, I hope my double A's last long enough for me to save when I get home.
Yeah, and you couldn't close the screen and put it in sleep mode either. It was like, oh, you're spoiled now. Like,
well, I think it depended on the game, because some games just had sleep mode built in. I remember, I don't remember if Legacy of Goku 2 had, but I know Boo's Fury had that built into it, so you could like activate sleep mode on it and it would use less power. But when you're running off of double A's, it really doesn't matter.
no. I mean, Nintendo always had good battery life. Like, if you're playing a Game Gear back in the day, good luck.
Well, that was why Nintendo ended up coming out on top when it came to handhelds in the first place.
Pretty much. then Pokemon.
It's like, who needs color? We have battery life.
Well, because like even like later on when like other companies had good battery life, like the Neo Geo Pocket, for anyone that had one of those, that thing had good battery life and was in color and it had pretty good games, but didn't have Pokemon. So,
yeah, it kind of made a big difference for a lot of kids.
I got most of my Christmas shopping done, thankfully. Though
we got a lot of it done. We still have some more stuff to go, but you're slowing down. Oh, there you go.
Did the recording just poop itself for a second there?
Kind of. You were like, you went into slow-mo for a second, and then you stopped, and then you caught up.
You went to slow-mo for me, and then like everything just like flashed, and then it's sort of back. Okay. Well, the recording still, so that matters.
Yeah.
Off to a great start.
Yeah, it was funny because I saw like you were like messing with your hair, and it was just like real slow going through. I was like, "What are you doing to me, Bill? You trying to seduce me?"
No. Not good at that. Anyways, so I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
We were just talking about Game Boy memories and shit. Have you watched any animes this week?
I have. So aside from like ongoings, which we'll get to probably at the end because I think we have the same ones for the most part.
I think I have a couple.
I watched that.
But
I did watch that. Ayla hides her feelings in Russian show.
Yeah. What'd you think?
It was entertaining. I mean, aside from the gimmick, it's pretty standard rom-com stuff.
Yeah.
Like nothing like too original. The gimmick is funny. I can't get over the fact that fucking Ayla is voiced by fucking Ash Ketchum. That throws me off every time I hear it.
I didn't even notice. I stopped watching Pokemon after the voice changed, so I'm not familiar really with that voice. So
yeah, no, I noticed it right away just because I watched all of Diamond and Pearl. But yeah, it was. Aside from that, though, I like the gimmick. The first few episodes, I'm not gonna lie, a little fan servicey for my taste.
I mean, it's no worse than Dress Up Darling.
True.
Because I kind of feel that way about Dress Up Darling, but Dress Up Darling also has like that wholesomeness to it.
Dress Up Darling
has such crazy.
Dress Up Darling has such a compelling plot though that you don't really care about it. This show, like, it was weird. It was like in the first few episodes, it was kind of like extreme, and then it just kind of died off. I was like, oh, okay, I guess they're not doing that anymore.
They were just trying to hook the horn dogs. That's all.
I guess, like that changing room scene at the start, I was like, okay, what are we doing here?
And I guess
the animators had some fun there.
Yeah. I guess with Dress Up Darling, it makes sense because it has the cosplay backdrop to it.
Yeah, but also the fact too that anytime it happens, we usually get a Marin crash out. So it was always kind of like, yeah, this is fine. Like they're just playing with it at this point.
I
I did like that show though. I'm gonna probably watch season 2. I got a lot of Kaguya-sama vibes from it. Not for 100%, but well, because the main character, they're both voiced by Aaron Discview, so it's kind of like you just
Yeah.
there's that right there. There's also the whole family drama in the background going on that I'm like, why is this? The whole time I was like, this just feels really out of place and a little too deep for what this show was doing initially, but I'm curious to see where it goes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that they kind of throw out there, like they don't spell anything out, so it kind of makes you question a little bit what the relationships are. Because I don't know if this is how you interpreted it, but it seemed to me that his childhood friend that he learned Russian because of was her sister.
Oh, I mean that was so fucking obvious to me. Like the fact that she flat out like basically says it like right when they re-meet.
Yeah, but well, they don't really like say it, but it's one of those things where like that's the way I interpreted it, and that probably is what it is because a lot of these shows don't tend to go too crazy with that.
Yeah,
but
well, when she does that whole thing where she basically is like, "Wait a minute, do you?" And then she kind of says the thing in Russian, and he clearly knows, but he doesn't say it. I'm like, yeah, that's totally she's the one he knew from. Yeah, but
it also maybe I'm tainted by the fact that not that long ago I watched the Quintessential Quintuplets and it had a similar thing going on with that one. Where it led you to believe that it was a different sister that he had that background with, and then it ended up being the one you suspected the least. So
yeah,
like maybe like in that context, like I was thinking like, oh well, maybe it's just like it was actually Ayla he knew back then, but she told her sister about it, and her sister put the pieces together, but Ayla's too stupid to figure it out. Like you never know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see on that. But yeah, the only other thing in that show I thought was like a twist that didn't really come out of anywhere was like the reveal that the other girl was his sister. Because like when they both appear on screen, I'm like, they look identical. Like,
yeah,
they ain't hiding that one. His sister's a fucking terrorist, by the way. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, super weird. Super weird. The whole like brother sister complex thing. I don't know why they do that so much. It's so
in this case, because of how extreme she is, I can tell she's just fucking with him. But god damn it, it's like uncomfortable at times. I'm like, sheesh.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Like I get she's just trying to be a troll, but at the same time, you're doing it too well.
Yeah, no kidding. So I discovered, because I decided to actually look into it, that Disney anime apparently is only going to have 8 episodes in the first season.
That kind of sounds about right for like a non kind of like standard anime.
I guess so. It's so weird. Like 8 episodes, like you're treating it like it's like a season of Stranger Things, but it's still 20-minute episodes. It's like, how much time do you really have to set anything up or deliver at any point? And I've been watching week to week. I haven't watched the newest episode yet, but I've watched the first 5, which is more than half of the season apparently. And it feels like they haven't really done much yet. It feels like they're still kind of like getting you introduced to the characters, and they haven't really like done anything meaningful with them yet.
I think Disney is trying. This is like Disney's testing ground for the whole anime craze, because let's face it, anime is taking over the world, no matter what anyone says. And they're testing the waters here, but they still haven't quite figured it out yet, because they kind of got lucky by the fact that they inherited all the Hulu stuff. But now they're kind of like trying to do their own things, like because they did that Star Wars anime, which I've heard was okay, but I have yet to watch it.
I haven't watched any of the Star Wars series or anything, so
I'm so burned out on Star Wars that it's kind of like.
Well, I'm not. I haven't watched anything aside from like the original trilogy, the prequels, the first 2 of the sequels.
You're not missing anything with 9.
Well, I'm gonna watch it eventually just to complete it, because that's just how I am.
So you'll finish it, and like everyone, you'll just go, it was a waste of time, and then you'll move on.
And I watched like the first 4 episodes of The Mandalorian, and and Rogue One, and that's about all I've seen.
I just like all this like added Star Wars shit really just kind of highlighted the fact to me that I'm like, I don't actually like Star Wars that much.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, in the past like 10 years or so, I think I just discovered that like Star Trek is more my flavor.
Yeah, I mean,
And I don't dislike Star Wars. I like Star Wars. Every now and then I'll throw the movie on or whatever. If I see it on, I'll watch it. But like,
I like Star Wars back when it wasn't a thing that we got every week.
Yeah, yeah. Back when it was just the original trilogy and to a lesser extent, but still the prequels.
I mean, the prequels aren't as bad as everyone says they are. Like, I think we've seen that, especially with the Disney sequels.
No, I like Phantom Menace more than a lot of people. And I think Revenge of the Sith is great.
Revenge of the Sith. Attack of the Clones sucks, but it also has some of the best moments in the goddamn series.
Yeah, and that's where it kind of gets a little bit of a pass. But
like the thing with Attack of the Clones is like you have the awesome Obi-Wan segment, and then you have like the whole ending segment. But then in the middle you've got fucking sand. It's coarse and it gets everywhere.
There's just sand everywhere.
Yeah, and it's just like god damn it, this is the highlight of like where you realize George Lucas is not a great director. He's a great creator, but as a director, it's like, yeah, you see why the best Star Wars movie was one that he didn't direct. So
yeah, it turns out that having a buffer to be like, hey, maybe that's not a good idea, is a good idea. It's turns out there is such a thing as too famous to just be able to do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I mean, he wrapped it up very well with Attack of the Revenge of the Sith.
The third one, yeah.
He tied everything together very well, even if that movie still has its own fucking problems. But that's besides the point.
I mean, if we're being real, like all the movies really have problems.
I mean, yeah, like the only one that's legitimately I feel like good all the way through is the first two. And when I say the first two, I mean 4 and 5.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know. I like Return of the Jedi.
6 is okay, but it also does have a lot of this like boring meandering shit in the middle where you're just kind of like just get on with it.
I mean, all the original trilogy kind of had those kind of meandering moments.
True,
but that's just how movies were made back then. So
yeah, I mean, I think 3 is better than 6. Like that's like probably my big hot take with the Star Wars series. But
no, Revenge of the Sith is one of the best movies. I don't care what anybody says. And that was the first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters. Actually, I saw it in theaters for my 10th birthday.
Yeah, I think I saw it too around. Well, I saw 1, 2, and 3 all with my dad. Like we went to all 3 of them. I remember that.
But I don't know how we got on the Star Wars tangent. Oh, Disney, that's right.
Yeah, Disney.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see the first season wrapping up in a worthwhile way in the next 3 episodes.
That's the problem with these short run animes we're getting now, like especially the 12ers. Like, I like the fact that we have a quick season, so like they can like get like turn around and have time to actually keep up with it. But at the same time, though, it's like sometimes I feel like they're just stretching them out or squeezing them down just to fit into these windows they're creating.
Well, some shows suffer because of that. Like I personally had that kind of feeling when I watched Solo Leveling and Don when I watched the first seasons of those, because it just felt like it wasn't complete, and it wasn't, because when season 2 came out for both of those, it changed my whole perspective of those shows.
Yeah, Don to Don's a weird one. Like the way they handled season 1, I will not understand. Solo Leveling's a bit different because that was supposed to be just one. That was supposed to be just 126er, not 2 seasons. But that's besides the point. Also, I think the Solo Leveling is also weird because it's definitely the tail end is much stronger than the first half, just because like once he gets to like the fucking point where Solo Leveling's a power fantasy, like it is the most junk food anime you'll ever watch, but it's fun, and that's the reason why it's so popular.
Yeah. Kind of like Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it, so I can't compare, but sure.
Demon Slayer's fun action and goofy characters, and that's about it.
Yeah, I've heard the animation carries that show.
I know. I apologize. I'm too harsh on it. It just really soured me with some of that shit.
Yeah.
I know it's popular for a reason. I know people like it for a reason. And I'm not going to say that I didn't enjoy my time with it, but it just certain parts of it just soured it for me.
Yeah.
Kind of like Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah. Maybe next year I'll watch it. I don't know.
It's worth at least one run through, you know. I'm not going to say it's like terrible that you shouldn't watch it, but it's not that long, especially compared to like My Hero.
Speaking of My Hero, the newest episode, holy shit.
I haven't watched any of the newest episodes. I usually watch all the new episodes on Sunday morning, and I spent that whole time watching sitcoms for this. So
fair.
I watched any of my new episodes.
All I'll say is I'm glad I watched My Hero because holy shit. Like what a fucking episode.
Yeah.
So you didn't watch the new Spy Family either, I'm guessing?
No. Well, the Spy Family is usually Sunday night at the earliest anyway, because we were watching that as a family, and that's when Xander comes home. So
all I'll say about Spy Family is that show hits so much different animated.
For sure.
Like, because I will say, like, we're in the middle of the bus arc right now. Well, actually, it's technically over, but Billy Squires' background hits so much more, like backstory hits so much different animated than it did in the manga. Like, goddamn, that is one of those few shows where, like, as good as the manga is, the anime just fucking nails it out of the park.
Just elevates it.
Yeah, it's insane just how good Spy Family is as an anime.
There's some series that just do that, you know.
It's crazy too, though, because like Endo's art is beautiful and like the manga is great. Like both are equally awesome. It's just it's amazing how much better the anime is at times.
But yeah, so we had no kids last night, and Cindy and I had all these plans, like, oh, we're gonna play this game, or we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And we got home after, you know, grabbing like, you know, whatever food or whatever we were gonna get. And we cook it all up. We're like, oh, let's watch some TV while we eat. And Cindy goes, let's start Oshinoko.
Oh.
Guess what we did the rest of the night?
So Oshinoko from season 2 or the entire run?
Season 2.
Ah. So that must have been how'd she react to that?
Well, we still have 3 more episodes to go, so she hasn't gotten the big.
Oh, so she hasn't even got to the fucking insane ones yet. Good.
No. We left off right when they decided that, oh, we're gonna go to Miyazaki. Now that the play run is over, and like she just found out about the whole like, oh, this is his brother, and also his dad is dead. But she hasn't seen him in the graveyard yet.
Oh, so she hasn't seen. So the first half of that season is great, and then the second half is just like, oh yeah, all that fun stuff. Now we're gonna drop fucking every bombshell we have on you. So
it's not even the second half. It's like the last 4 episodes. They're like bam, 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 bam. Like,
every episode ends in a goddamn wham, and it's like holy shit.
Yeah,
like the second you hear, the second you hear burning, like you're like, no, it's not time yet.
But yeah, I think we're gonna try and finish that off tonight.
Oh, I'll have fun with that. I'm sure her reaction.
Yeah, I can't wait to see her reaction to the post-credit scene is what I'm really looking forward to.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, what team is Cindy on? Is she on Team Akane or Team Kana?
Oh, Super Akane. Super Akane.
Good.
The second she heard the "I'll help you kill them," she was like, "Yep, she's great. I love her. Ride or die, bitch. Ride or die." So yeah, there was that. I was pretty much probably gonna end up doing a full run of season 2 again with her, because I already watched like 9 episodes of it with it, 10 episodes with her. So there's that. Hold on, let me look real quick. I gotta look at my list so I don't remember everything I watched. Oh, there it is. Hold on. And what did I watch? I watched But I watched Terror in Residence. That was an interesting show. I think it was like a 12 or a 13, I think. Just a one and done kind of show, but it was kind of cool. It was like it was kind of playing off like the kind of MK Ultra type of experiments a little bit. Not quite to that degree. It was more like it was kind of like you know, in a Death Note when you kind of like you don't really go into L's backstory per se, but you kind of learn about the school where they just keep pulling all these gifted children and, you know, like try to essentially like mold them into the next L. It's essentially that kind of thing.
The point where the story gets wacky, yes.
But then two of them escape and become terrorists.
That's
Yeah.
always good.
But like they don't want to kill anybody. They're just blowing shit up.
That's fun, I guess.
No, it's actually a really well told story once you get into it. But I also watched the spin-off for the Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, which was all right. I mean, they were just like little 10-minute blurbs. It was like 8 of them, but that was pretty fun. I finished Paranoia Agent. That was a fucking trip. That was a trip.
Yes, Tashikon usually is, yes.
Yeah. I think at this point it's pretty much cemented that the only thing that he did that wasn't a total trip was the Christmas one, and even that,
and that's still a trip.
Even that was wild.
A trip. The fucking subway car, but the truck scene still gets me every time. Where it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I watched a bunch of because I mentioned for this episode I had to get basically I had to either subscribe to HBO for a month or buy the episode specifically on like Prime or something, and I wasn't going to do that, so I was just like, I'll just get like a month of Max and we'll call it a day, and I'll just fucking watch that, and like if there's anything else I want to watch during that month, I'll do it. Well, as I was going to do it, they were like, hey, today only Cyber Monday deal, if you subscribe now you get $3 a month for a year. So I have HBO again.
Just in time for Netflix to absorb it. Great.
Yeah, right. Oh, we didn't even get into that yet.
Yeah.
Looks like Netflix and Disney are going to be the two powerhouses of streaming going forward.
Well, that was like the biggest fear everyone had, because everyone knew Discovery was trying to get rid of Warner Brothers. And the biggest fear everyone had was going to get bought by Paramount, which no one wanted. And then like the Netflix thing comes out of nowhere, because I knew the bidders I saw was Paramount and then Disney, and I was like, God damn it, don't let Disney buy that, because we don't need DC and Marvel under the same roof.
Yeah,
that's bad. And then Netflix comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh right, these guys, yeah, these guys, yeah,
the guys like, that started this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so that happened, and I was just like, oh, okay, this is happening. I'm like, the whole time I'm like, this sucks, but also it's better than the alternatives. So I was just kind of sitting there going like,
yeah,
it was one of those.
I'm okay with it in the sense that like, if I could just have Netflix and Disney and have everything I want under that umbrella and not have to pay for anything else, I'm totally okay with that.
I wonder how long they're gonna double dip it, like Funny and Crunchyroll did for a while, and like how Disney still has Hulu up for the time being, even though there's no reason to.
Yeah, because they already have everything available on Disney. It just you can't access it unless you also have a Hulu account.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to they're gonna stretch it out as long as they physically can before it becomes ridiculous.
Sure. And then once they absorb them, the overall price is going to go up anyway. But
I mean, Netflix will raise the price even more than they already have, because of course
I'm sure. But I have the basic plan for both of them anyway, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to do some bullshit like be like, oh, you have to get this add-on to access the HBO shit.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. But anyways, I also now that I have Max, and I discovered that apparently they added a lot of Fucking what's his name? We were just talking about Satoshi Kon now. That's all I can think of.
Oh, Miyazaki.
No, not Miyazaki.
Oh,
Shinkai. They added a bunch of Shinkai's older films.
oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta still
They
watch
have,
all the other older ones.
Yeah, so I watched Fireworks, The Place Promised in Our Early Days, and The Children Who Chase Lost Voices. All older movies that he has done.
I believe one of those is before 5 centimeters per second, and the other is after 5 centimeters per second.
Yeah. But I will say, obviously, he hadn't mastered his craft up to the point that he has at this point. But Fireworks had some Your Name vibes. And,
wait. Fireworks is not Shinkai.
It said Shinkai.
They're stretching that a little bit. It's technically a different guy.
It said directed by Makoto Shinkai.
So I have Fireworks, and
it's listed, like when you look at Shinkai's wiki, it says it's listed on there.
Let me double check this, because I'm pretty sure I made the same mistake. Yeah, let me look this up. Yeah, according to Wikipedia, Shinkai is not involved.
Well, that's weird, because when I saw it, it said it was.
It was the same production staff that did Your Name, because it came out right after Your Name. I think that's where the switch.
It did? I thought it was older. Because it feels like Your Name in a lot of ways. Not like entirely, but it does some similar things.
Fireworks came out right after in 2017.
Huh. I guess I didn't realize Your Name was that old.
Yeah, Your Name was like 2016, I believe, 2015-ish.
Oh, so it actually predates Weathering with You?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it went Weathering with You, Your Name, Suzume.
It went Your Name, Weathering with You, Suzume.
Oh, okay. Well, that's weird because Max has it listed as a Shinkai movie. That's why I watched it.
It was the same production staff. Because like on the Blu-ray case, it says from the creators of Your Name.
Oh. Well, it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it.
It's an okay film.
And I also watched the Place Promised in Our Early Days. That one was kind of weird. I didn't particularly love that one. I think that might have been the one that was before 5 centimeters per second.
Let me double check.
And then Children.
I believe that is Shinkai's debut film. Yes.
And Children Who Chase Lost Voices. It was kind of a similar thing that I felt about Fireworks, where it had some Suzume vibes, but it wasn't quite up to par.
So his discography goes the Place Promised in Our Early Days, 5 centimeters per second, Children Who Chase Lost Voices, The Garden of Words, Your Name, Weathering with You, and Suzume. Garden of Words is on High Dive.
Well, then the multiple things that I looked up were lying to me because they all said Shinkai was heavily involved.
Yeah, it's not even listed on his Wikipedia page. It's actually really funny. No, because I had this same like thing where I was like, it says it on the box, and I'm like, of course the box lied.
It felt so Shinkai too.
Same productions team, like staff, like just not he wasn't involved. It's kind of like the Ghibli films that Ghibli's not actually involved with.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I discovered something yesterday or the day before. So I was hanging out with Francis yesterday morning, I think. And we were just kind of hanging out watching different shit. And I had put on the animated Hobbit film. And I had heard rumors about this, the one from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I had rumors about this. So I looked into it. Because I had heard rumors that Miyazaki had been involved in it in some way, shape, or form. And it turns out that is in fact not true. However, the animation itself was outsourced to Japan. And the company and people who did the animation were the exact same studio that Miyazaki would later buy and turn into Studio Ghibli. And a lot of those same animators came with it. So it's one of those interesting things where it's not Miyazaki never touched it, but almost everybody else at Studio Ghibli did. So even though it's technically not anime, it's in some ways, shape, or form, if you want to kind of look at it and squint your eyes a little bit, It's technically a Ghibli film.
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, technically, if you want to be technical, Nausicaa is not technically a Ghibli film because it was before Studio Ghibli was actually formed. It's
Yeah,
just
it was
retroactively now.
Yeah, it was like 2 years or so before Ghibli formed.
Yeah,
something like that.
Retroactively, it's a Ghibli film nowadays, but like technically, it wasn't at the time.
Yeah, it was the same thing with Panda Go Panda. It was the same thing. Actually, Panda Go Panda, I think, predates Ghibli by about 12 years.
Well, people also don't realize that Nausicaa is technically a manga that Miyazaki wrote.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was like his like one manga was Nausicaa.
I'm gonna have to try and seek that out.
I don't know if it's been printed or not in a long time because I've always been curious to check it out as well. Because Nausicaa,
it'd be pretty silly if it wasn't.
You'd be amazed. Some manga that should be in print aren't.
Yeah, Miyazaki of all people, like I don't know, it just seems kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also watched a movie called The Night is Short, Walk On Girl. And it was basically just a night about this girl bar hopping throughout this one night. It was an interesting watch, but it was entertaining. And I also watched Konosuba and Explosion in This Wonderful World.
The spinoff, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did not have a whole lot of Konosuba vibes as you're watching it. It kind of was like a much more standard fantasy show.
It was because it's just Megumin doing her thing, basically.
Yeah, but when you see the Konosuba name on it, you expect it to be a certain way, and it wasn't that way at all.
See, Konosuba, the whole thing with that is you need all four of them because when it's just like that show is like a perfect example of what happens when they're just by themselves, and you realize, oh yeah, they're each like they could each be the protagonist of a different show, but when you put them all together and realize they all kind of suck. Like
well, when the actual protagonist is by himself, I mean, we've seen where that ends up.
Yeah.
With the start of Konosuba.
Yeah, pretty much.
And last but not last, I watched the first episode of season 3 of One Punch Man.
That's a thing, all right.
It sure exists. It sure exists.
Apparently, episode 2, I think, came out, and Alex said she finally got to see the slides, so that's fun.
Oh yeah, that's fun. I haven't watched it yet. It just
apparently
it was just one of those things where I was like, oh, the dub is out. I guess I'll start watching it.
Yeah. Apparently, episode 8, from what people are saying, is actually somewhat okay, but like,
well, hopefully it's one of those situations where it's just like, no, we're just saving the budget for the good episodes, but we'll see.
Yeah, but at least with Blue Lock, they were very transparent about that. The freaking director of One Punch Man is just gaslighting people now. So,
yeah. But yeah. So I mean, I hit my goal for the year, my big goal, and at this point, I'm just trying to hit a nice round number. That's why I'm watching movies again.
Yeah,
because we have
keep it a secret because I want this to be a surprise.
Oh, I am. But we have just under 2 weeks to squeeze in a few more.
It's looking like it. I think it's like exactly 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So as long as I, keep watching movies and watching whatever series that, come up. Because I was also going to watch Slime Diaries this week. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just watch all the spinoffs for the shows I already watched. So start working on
Alex
that.
is even aware that there's anime on HBO Max.
I mean, how has she been watching the Ghibli films?
Oh, we watched all those years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys rewatched them for the episode you guys did on it a while back or whatever.
I think that's because they were in the first anime episode we did.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the Ghibli films. Now there's a bunch of Shinkai on there. Apparently, Fireworks isn't Shinkai, but whatever. And then there's a few other random ones that they've thrown on there too. Actually, they threw on a couple of Satoshi Kon movies on there too. I think Millennium Actress and Perfect Blue are on there now.
Oh, that's cool to know. God, Perfect Blue. I wonder if it's the censored version.
Probably not. It's HBO.
True. I don't know. I have to look into that now. But
I think at least those two. Also, I was looking into it, and I can't find the English version of Paprika anywhere.
It might be a Blu-ray only the situation, unfortunately.
So I might have to buy it to watch it.
Yeah, we'll have to. I'll have to see if it's a DVD, and we might have to stream it when I get a better computer.
Because at this point, that's the only thing that he made that I haven't seen yet. So the completionist in me needs to watch it.
I think Sony handled the dub for that, and I think that's part of the reason why it's in weird dub purgatory, even though Sony owns half the fucking anime shit now.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. I'm also looking a little on the gaming side. I just got my 5th gym badge in black.
Nice.
So I'm still plugging away at that.
Nice. Yeah, other than that, I'm just trying to get through the year. We're almost there.
Yeah, no kidding. And next week is going to be our just kind of talking about the year episode. So that'll be fun. It'll also be nice not to have any preparation to do and just jump in and talk.
That is true. But I figure now we should probably get into our topic for this episode. It is our final Christmas special of the year. So yeah, we had talked about this. We've been planning this one for a bit now. We were going to talk about Christmas sitcom episodes because everybody loves sitcoms and every sitcom has a Christmas special, at least one, sometimes
pretty
multiple.
Much, yeah.
So we picked 4 shows and we picked a bunch of episodes from the shows. I think we pretty much established we're going to end it off with the Always Sunny one because that's the longest one.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do is we'll start with Seinfeld, do F is for Family, do the Friends episodes, and then do Always Sunny. I think that'll work.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I guess we'll start off then with Seinfeld. For this one, we wanted to talk about the episode The Strike, which is from the final season of Seinfeld, actually, believe it or not. And everyone knows Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. Crazy shenanigans afoot. The Strike, though, is very well known for the creation of Festivus. Yep. And
I haven't watched Seinfeld since I was like 8 years old.
You know what's funny? I only ever I would watch Seinfeld because it would be on TV all the time back in the day, but I've never actually really sat down and watched it all the way through. But anytime you watch an episode, you're just compelled by it because it's so fucking entertaining.
Yeah, it was pretty silly.
Yeah, like, the benefit of Seinfeld is there isn't a ton of ongoing plot threads because it is literally a show about nothing that you have to keep up with. Like, there's minor things here or there, but for the most part, you can jump into any episode and pretty much watch it front to back. And this episode is pretty interesting because they're kind of like talking about Christmas. The Christmas season's coming, and we get this great scene where George gets his Christmas present back, and it's one of those things where it's like, we have made a donation in your name to a children's charity, and he's all being George about it, being all pissed off. He's like, "What the hell's this?" It's like, I don't get anything, and then they give my gift to someone else. And of course, Jerry's
I can kind of understand the sentiment like behind it. Like how, his take on that, I can kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like I wouldn't be mad about it. Like, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Well, because we later get into the episode where George decides to be George, and he's like, all right, I made a donation in your name to the Human Society, the Human Foundation. They're like, what the fuck's that? He's like, nothing. I just made it up.
It's a charity. That's all you need to know.
But there's that great scene where like he's giving out those cards and everyone's reactions are like, thanks. Or like the boss is like
pretty much the same reaction he was giving about what he got.
That makes sense. This episode also has the background event of see, the thing about Seinfeld episodes I really like is there's always like just random plot threads going on. Like we get the Jerry's dating this girl he met at a party, but she's got a two-face. where like in certain lighting she looks really good, and in certain lighting she does not. And he's like,
Yeah,
I don't know what face I'm gonna get.
we've all met people like that.
But I like the fact how the conclusion to that subplot is she thinks he's cheating on her, when in reality he's talking about her. Just she has two faces. It's really funny.
Yeah.
We also have Kramer going on strike at the bread company.
Oh yeah, the bagel place.
Yeah, the bagel place.
I'm guessing. I like I said, I only watch bits and pieces from like way back in the day when like my dad would watch it. So like I'm not super familiar with Seinfeld, but I'm guessing the joke here is that he has always been portrayed as being unemployed throughout the series. And then it
That's
turns
kind
out
of the joke.
It's like, no, I was actually just on strike the whole time.
He's been, well, the strike is specifically for this episode, but Kramer's kind of thing is he's always like, he's the comic relief. He's always jumping between jobs and whatever the plot needs for him.
Yeah.
And then because then we get the recurring Jerry love interest subplots, and then there's also the Elaine trying to find a partner subplots. But although this one, it's more she just wants a goddamn sub from the sub shop, but she wants one that she earned with the goddamn punch card.
Also, the guy that she blew off and accidentally gave the punch card to. It was weird seeing him here, like so much younger than I'm familiar with, because he's been all over the place.
Oh yeah, like there's so many, like, because it's always funny when sitcom stars from other sitcoms like appear in different shows, because like Jason Alexander, the guy who plays George, he appears in a Friends episode later, and he basically plays the same character but like different.
Yeah, wasn't he also in he was in an episode of Voyager too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's been all over the place.
And I believe he was also the guy who stole Woody in Toy Story 2.
I think so, yeah.
Am I thinking of the right person? I'm not sure. I feel like I always get him confused with another actor, and I could be doing that now.
Maybe. The voice sounds right, so I'm not sure. But yeah, he's been all over the place. I mean, all the actors in Seinfeld basically went on, because like Elaine is in Christmas Vacation.
That's what it was. Okay. We just watched that the other night. But I feel like every time I watch Christmas Vacation, I'm always like, oh, I know this person from this and this and this. I'm like, wait a minute, this person looks like this person, but it's actually not the same person. They just look similar.
But we should probably bring up the pinnacle of this episode is the Festivus, which is the made up holiday that George's dad came up with because he hates the commercialization of Christmas, and he explains that he can't.
I was gonna say I love the story behind like how it was created. He's just
fighting with another man over a doll for George, and he's like, what happened to the doll? Oh, it was destroyed. Was it a pretty doll? He was like, it was beautiful. He was beautiful. But of course, the whole time George is like, no, we don't need to talk about Festivus. Please, no one needs to know. And then his dad shows up with the Festivus pole,
which we don't need to guess. We know what that pole is for.
Oh yeah. But eventually, because George gets caught with his human fun scheme, he ends up inviting to get out of it. He's like, he tells his boss, "Oh, I'm sorry, I had to do it because of Festivus." And he basically it pulls the entire thing into Festivus. And then he ends up taking his boss to his dad's house to celebrate Festivus. And there are so many quotable lines here, like, "It's now time for the airing of grievances." And he's like, "Because I have a lot of things I need to tell you." Every Christmas, and every time I go home for Christmas, we always freaking go over these lines. Like whenever we're at the Christmas dinner, I'm like, all right, time for the airing grievances.
Yep.
Celebrating Festivus.
Really disappointed me this year.
And I love how the whole thing, he's like, all right, now who's going to do the fight? And he's like, all right, George. And it just ends on George getting the shit kicked out of him by his dad.
All right.
It's a classic episode, though, that show. Like, people still quote Festivus to this day. Oh, and did you catch the after the credit scene?
Oh, I don't think I did.
Where Kramer is making the bread and he accidentally gets his gum in it.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And the owner finally just walks over because he's like, you know what? you know, you're done. You're fired. And he's like, thank you, and just walks out.
That's too funny.
It's such a fucking dumb show, but I love it.
Yeah, I might have to actually go through and like watch some episodes.
You know, it's a good show when it's like you can watch any episode and just get a laugh. Like there's, a sitcom's good when it's just entertaining, like, and anyone can jump into it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I'm locked in for sitcom right now though because I'm rewatching Scrubs because I got the new one coming out in a couple months, and I'm really excited for that. So I was like, I need to go back and rewatch all of Scrubs. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Nice, but yeah, I guess now we can move on to Epis for Family.
Yeah, so when I picked this, I had totally forgotten all the setup that laid into it. I also forgot that this was the finale for season 1. So obviously there was a lot of build up to this. Because the episode starts with there being like a big fire and just be like, oh, well, Bill set a fire and he fucked up a lot of shit. Now he's in trouble. And a lot of stuff did come back to me when I was watching it because I remembered that the reason a lot of this stuff happened, well, the reason Bill starts acting out in the first place is because I believe in episode 1, he overhears his dad and his mom talking, and his dad calls him a pussy, and he didn't like that. But that was like a trauma twofer, as they say, when he heard that, because I don't remember the circumstances of why he was, but he was hiding under their bed when they had that conversation. And I'm sure you can guess where I'm going with this.
Yeah. We know where this goes in most shows. Yeah.
So, and oh God, poor little Bill. He goes through so much trauma in this show.
See, I forget. I forgot this was a Netflix show when I started watching it, because like right away there's just fucking straight up like nudity, and I'm like, oh shit, like yeah, this wasn't a TV show.
Oh yeah. It was
also it's
a lot of scenes like that.
You can tell right away this is a Bill Burr show, because I was like, holy shit, like fucking profanity everywhere.
Well, it's also like the 70s Bostonian dad, his catchphrase in that show is just, I'm gonna put you through that fucking wall.
Yeah,
in a very Bill Burr manner.
It's definitely an acquired comedy taste, because I know for a fact this show would not appeal to everybody.
No, it certainly wouldn't. But I feel like us being where we're from. I mean, I don't know what kind of home life you had growing up. I feel like you got pretty chill parents, but
yeah, for the most part.
But at the same time, like it's still like a culture thing. Like we grew up in Massachusetts, so like we know the type, and it's an incredibly accurate show.
Yeah. A bit more extreme. Like, I mean, I grew up in a farming town, so it wasn't a huge, like, I wasn't really into the suburbia of it all, but
yeah.
Yeah, I get the vibe right away, and it's very clear watching the show. You're like, yeah, this is a period piece.
Yep, for sure. Also, Justin Long is the older brother.
Yeah,
which is really weird because like Cindy and I don't know how it keeps coming up, but lately Justin Long has just been everywhere for us. I don't know why, but just like every time I go to watch something or like listen to an audiobook or something, like, oh, this is fucking Justin Long. Why is he just constantly popping up all over the place? And like, whatever happened to him? Because he was super big in the 2000s.
Yeah. Oh man.
He just kind of vanished after a while. I have no idea what happened with that. Maybe just the vibe ran its course and was just like, okay, we've had enough of you.
Probably. That happens to a lot of actors.
But yeah, so he ends up having to become an altar boy as like his punishment, I guess.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, oh, I know where this is going. And then it didn't go where I thought it was going. I was like, oh, this wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah, no, because the person who's supposed to be like mentoring him as an altar boy is his bully.
Yeah. I didn't know that going into this, but I was like,
yeah, that's his bully. That's his I'm trying to think of a good example. What's the fucking redheaded guy from Christmas Story? You wouldn't know. You didn't watch that movie much.
No. I get the vibe though. Like
yeah. But And then at the same time, we also have this whole like side plot of there's a bunch of like bad shit going on at the dad's work. Like a lot of people are upset, and there's like they're threatening strike, and he's trying to smooth it all over and get everybody, to come to an agreement.
So did you find it amusing that like there was a couple like recurring plot themes through all these episodes? Like, because we had Kramer's strike in the Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
And then there was an actual strike happening here, because I didn't even bring up the whole like Kramer's like, I'm going on strike, and then Elaine's like, but I want my sub, and he's like, scav, like just like screaming at it. This was a more realistic depiction of a strike, like of a union thing, because I just went through one of these, and holy shit, it kind of was a little accurate at times.
Yeah. So yeah, we got that whole plot line going on the side. And then I don't know what the hell's going on with the older brother. He's just kind of like, oh, I'm just going to go work at the Christmas tree place and fuck off for a while, I guess.
All he did was he did that, and he drew the missing lost sign for the dog with 2 dicks.
Right. Oh yeah, because that was part of the whole thing, is like in the craziness of the fire, they all lost their dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, just it's your average like adult animated shenanigans.
This was interesting though, because like a lot of the times these end up having like good resolutions. This one was just straight up like nothing goes right.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of the vibe the show goes with. It's just kind of like keep kicking the working man while he's down kind of thing. Which I get.
I think we all do to a degree.
Yeah. So like just kind of like speeding through like the end results of all of this is like so the whole thing with Bill is he basically his bully just keeps trying to drag him into all the like fucked up shit he's doing in this church. Like he's just fucking like drinking the wine and eating the Jesus crackers, just as he feels like, and then he's also like stealing the donation money and all this other shit. And he keeps trying to get Bill to do it, and eventually he's just like, no, fuck that, I'm not doing that. And he like, pushed him or something, and then the kid like fell down and like smashed his head and he got knocked unconscious. He was like,
he fell into a statue of Jesus.
Yeah. And he was just like, oh fuck, I'm out of here. Like it's not happening. Yeah. Also, I love the scene when he first walks into the church. He's like, "Oh Jesus, oh Jesus!" He's like seeing like the big ass statue of Christ with like all the blood and shit, and like,
yeah,
he's just like, "No, I don't like this."
Anytime like a sitcom does like the church thing, I'm always just like, being someone who did not go to church as a kid, I'm always like, I don't get this shit at all.
Oh, I did go to church, and that's exactly why I'm like, yeah.
See, my mom tried to take us to church once. Alex was like just like completely uninterested, and I was more interested in playing in the playground outside. So my mom realized real fast, this ain't gonna work, and just didn't bother again.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I got dragged to church for a long time, even though I fall asleep almost every single time.
I'm pretty sure this was more of just a case of like my mom really probably wasn't that keen on going to begin with, and it was just kind of a thing, and she realized, this ain't gonna work. Fair. I'm not wasting my time.
That's fair. So yeah, then like, Bill runs away, and that's kind of like where we'll leave him for now. And then you got the dad, who's he's trying to smooth all this shit. Like he's stuck doing work shit during the holidays, trying to figure out all this stuff so that nobody goes on strike and everybody gets what they want. And then like they're literally going to sign the deal. And like the dumbest thing in the world ends up just fucking like crumbling it all. It was something like the big boss man who they were all fighting with had like this younger girl or woman, let's not put that out there.
I mean, they did all joke that they thought she was his daughter. So
yeah, but then he also said, "You'd think I would fuck something as old as my daughter." That was pretty rough.
Yeah, I didn't like the implication of that line, because I was just like sitting there going like, does his daughter ever get shown on screen?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But I mean, he's portrayed as being on the older side, and if he's one of those guys that fucks, then he might have had a kid young. So for all we know, his daughter might be like our age.
True. I mean, honestly,
It still doesn't make him look good, but
no. I mean,
it's better than it could have been.
It's the classic case of the old corporate guy who's got the wife who's like half his age, like typical thing.
Yeah.
Probably not his first wife.
But I think it was like this weird thing where he was like she asked for one of the pens that they were signing with, and he's just like, "Oh no, the only people who need pens are the people signing it." And for some reason, the boss took that as, "You think my wife is a whore? This deal is off."
I was like, "Where the fuck did that come from?" He just said you couldn't have a pen because they needed. There was only. I was so like, what? I'm like sitting. I'm like, the whole time I'm laughing because I'm like, I get that this is supposed to be an exaggeration of a union like contract signing thing, but at the same time, I'm like, this is probably kind of accurate. Let's be real here.
Yeah, no kidding. So like that's kind of like where we'll leave that for now. And then like it was like this weird shit. Well, the neighbor guy, he's something in the show. He's like your stereotypical 70s party boy.
Yeah, this show takes place in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was very clear what was going on in that party.
Well, they weren't very subtle about it, because when he pulls back into his driveway and he's like singing to himself sadly, and all of a sudden a little person starts banging. A little person starts banging a chick on the fucking hood of his car.
Yeah. I'm just like, okay.
And before that, the neighbor pretty much blatantly said that they were going to be doing a lot of coke there.
Yeah, that was pretty clear.
Yeah.
But he seemed like a very nice guy.
Oh, he is. He's like a super nice guy. And that's kind of like he'll go through his arc throughout the show, but
and then a fucking fight breaks out on their front lawn with the kids and the kid's dad, and like all these people are just beating the shit out of each other.
Yep. My favorite part too is when the wife just comes in with the baseball bat and starts beating the piss out of the kid's dad.
Yeah.
Eventually they just like run away like, you guys are crazy. It's just like, no, that I'd say that's exactly what a family should do in that situation. Like, no, just gonna put that out there.
Yeah. It's weird how this is like, despite the outrageousness of the show at times, they are like one of the more realistic like sitcom families I've seen so far.
Like, I can picture all of this happening at Southie.
Yeah, because it's like you watch Family Guy, and that's just a fucking parody of itself at this point. You watch The Simpsons. The Simpsons is always The Simpsons is a weird one because it had moments where it was realistic and moments where it's very much not. South Park's its own thing. King of the Hill probably is the most accurate, like realistically, but
yeah,
this show, I got King of the Hill, like a more edgy King of the Hill vibes from this show.
It's King of the Hill, but set in Boston in the
70s.
Instead of the 90s. Yeah.
I'd still think I'd still say King of the Hill has the record for the chillest, like most down to earth animated sitcom. But this one is
you're not gonna get a chill sitcom in Boston.
No,
there's no chill here.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so that all goes down, and then eventually he's like, all right, I'm just going to go down and give the boss a piece of my mind and let him know exactly why he's being an idiot. And he does, and the boss is like, all right, I'll sign your thing. It's all good. Like, you're right. You made me look at myself, and everything's cool now. Don't worry about it. And then his more direct boss is like, yeah, you're fired.
Yeah, that was kind of like the whole thing there. I'm like, yeah, these guys looked like they were pieces of shit, and it's like, yeah, they are. Made sense.
Yep.
I did like that he traps him in his car though on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, he like wedged the door shut with the very pen that caused all the problems, and then
I also like the fact I like the fact too that he's like he takes his keys like, oh, what's he gonna do with the keys? And he's like, don't throw them, and he's like, oh, I won't. And drops him in the seat where he can't get them.
Yep.
Like, fucking wedges the door shut. Like that was great. I'm like, okay, that's very fitting.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Then we pretty much end the episode with him being sad and going back to his house, and the neighbor's there just tweaking in his underwear. chasing a reindeer in his underwear in the cold. But
I like the fact that he's,
you know what, the Bill Burr character here hates that guy, not like hate, but like he really dislikes that neighbor just because of his lifestyle. But he was still like nice enough to be like, yo, you're gonna freeze to death. Put on he takes off his coat and gives it to him.
well,
It's like,
it's one
hey,
of
come
those
in and eat
cases.
dinner with us, like.
It's kind of like a more extreme version of like the Ned Flanders, where like the neighbor is perfectly fine, but he just rubs you the wrong way, so you can't stand him.
This is a little bit more extreme than Ned.
Well,
Ned Flanders is actually just like a good dude. And this guy
Yeah.
is like, he's a good dude, but he's a good
Well-
dude that does a lot of coke and a lot of partying and bangs a lot of broads.
Ned's a good dude until you push him too far, and then he's like, "And if you piss me off, I'll run you over with my car." Like, I love Hurricane Neddy so much. It's a great episode.
God. But yeah,
But,
basically the episode ends with him just being like, yeah, I can't tell my wife on Christmas. We're just gonna have a nice Christmas, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. And that's kind of where it ends.
Yeah. I will say, definitely not a episode you can just jump right into and understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since I watched the show through, so I didn't remember that. I just saw like, oh, it's episode 6 of season 1, so there shouldn't be that much established by that point. Apparently, I was wrong.
And then you look at the episodes, you're like, oh wait, there was only 6 episodes in season 1.
The season finale is probably going to have some major events. Shit.
Yeah, it was all right though. It was entertaining as it was. That's probably a show I'll have to watch at some point when I have time. But we're in anime
it's a
mode
fun
right
watch.
now, so.
It's only 5 seasons. It's a fun watch.
Yeah, no, it looks entertaining. It's definitely a show like that could be a good background show. I'm sure.
And again, oh, for sure. And again, growing up where we did, like, I know you were in a little bit of the sleepier part of the state, but you'll get it more than most, I'm sure.
Very true. Yeah, that being said though, I guess moving on now, we watched a pair of Friends episodes. And I'll start by saying Friends was my sitcom back in the day. Like, it's the one that I have the most nostalgia for in a lot of ways. Because it was basically, it ran from 94 to 04, 10 years. And that basically my entire childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Friends, of course, everyone knows the theme song, which I have to say, like, sitcoms need a great theme, like opening that's iconic. Because, like, you're going to hear that shit a lot. And Friends has probably one of the most iconic themes.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the episode I chose 2 Friends episodes. The first one is a very famous one. It is the season 7 Christmas special, the one with the holiday armadillo. It makes sense in context, kind of. But we have there's a whole like thing where like it's the typical Friends shenanigans going on. For context, season 7, this is Chandler and Monica were engaged. Like, they had been engaged now. Rachel and Ross are still broken up. Joey's Joey and Phoebe's Phoebe. The usual Friends thing. For this one, there's a whole subplot where Ross is going to have his son for the Christmas for the first time in a while. And they make a whole thing where it's like, oh, did you get a Santa suit for him? He's like, no. I'm gonna teach him about Hanukkah this year because I want to share their other faith. So that whole thing starts there. There's also a subplot going on. So there's a few subplots in Friends that do carry over. There was in a previous episode, Phoebe's apartment had burned down because Rachel left a curling iron on. So they've currently been living in Chandler and Monica's apartment, and then Rachel's been staying with Joey across the hall. But she got word that her apartment's finished, and suddenly she's worried that Rachel's not going to want to live with her anymore because she's having so much fun living with Joey. So he goes on this whole goal of sabotaging it to make Rachel leave by buying Joey a drum set. The problem is Rachel loves the drum set, and they just start playing drums the whole time. Which is hilarious because it ends up annoying everybody else except for them.
Yeah.
We get that great line where Monica's like, it's like, next time could you like get like him something that's not obnoxious to everybody? Like a vial of smallpox or a or like a fucking bomb or something. And And Monica's like, yeah, and the worst part is like every now and then you'll hear Joey like throw his sticks in the air and then followed by, "Ow, my eye, my eye." Like, I love shit like that. There's also that great scene at the start where like they're having the conversation in the kitchen, and then just randomly Joey just walks out and leaves from the bathroom, and they're just like, "Did you know he was in there?" And they're like, "Nope." "How long have we been home?" "About half an hour." And they were just like, "Lovely."
I also really like the beginning part where I don't remember, I don't know all their names, but when the one kind of floaty chick walks in with the skull, she's like, oh yeah,
Phoebe.
Yeah, she walks in, she's like, oh, this is my mother's skull. They're like, ugh. It's like, no.
Like,
she owned it. It's not her actual skull.
It belonged to my grandmother. Licorice? And then Ross is like, yeah, it just takes one.
Yeah. No, I like that joke. That was funny.
And then we get that line too where she's like, oh, and then I can teach him about the Christmas skull.
Yeah.
But there's also the great scene too where like Chandler's taking Monica out and they're getting held up at the restaurant because there's a waiting list. So Chandler keeps trying to do like the smooth thing of giving the guy a tip to get along faster, but he keeps like either he forgets the money or he drops it on the floor.
Yep.
And then of course Ross is trying to now get a Santa suit because he realizes that was a mistake. And the guy at the costume shop basically is like, yeah, we got nothing, but I can get you the. He's like, all right, can you get me anything that's Christmassy? And he's like, he cuts the next scene. He's like, it's the holiday armadillo. Also, did you notice that his son Ben is one of the Sprouse brothers?
Is that what it was? I knew the kid looked super familiar, and I couldn't place it.
I believe it was Dylan Sprouse. Because it's one of the rare things where they didn't use both of them. They just used one of them for the entire show. Was run.
Yeah. They were like, fuck that. We're not paying both of them. We got one.
Yeah. Well, he was played by he was played by a different kid earlier on, a younger kid. And then when it's implied he grew up, they got one of the Sprouse brothers for a while. So he's trying to teach his son about Hanukkah, and the kid's like, was I bad? Santa's not here. He's like, no, Santa's very busy. So he sent, I'm one of his helpers from the southern states.
Yeah, and Mexico.
Yeah. He's like, because Monica does that great line. She's like, well, hello, Holiday Armadillo. You sure came a long way from Texas. But then, of course, as he's finally making progress, Chandler shows up in a Santa suit. It immediately derails the entire thing. And there's the whole like argument going on where he's like, oh, well, I'm Santa Claus here, weird turtle man. I also like the joke too, wherever Ross turns around in the costume, he like whacks like Monica with the tail.
It's about right.
But we also got the great line where like they're arguing between like the two of them now, and Monica's like, all right, Ben, you open your presents here. Well, me, Santa Claus, and the armadillo are going to go have a conversation in the kitchen. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say. And eventually eventually it gets to a thing where like Ross is like just done and he's like, all right, I'll leave. And then Chandler actually saves the day and he's like, well, Ben, you can come sit with me, but let's hear about Hanukkah. And then Joey shows up dressed as Superman.
Because of course.
And then completely derails it again. We also got that great scene of Monica being like, "Did you save the costume?" And he's just like, "Santa, really?" And she's like, "Yeah, is that weird?" And he's like, "Did your dad dress up as Santa?" And she's like, "No." He's like, "Then it's okay." Monica and Chandler are weird like that. But
hey, whatever gets you there.
Yeah, I know, right? But eventually it ends where like Ross does finally get to tell the whole story. And Chandler's like, and I really loved the part of the story where Superman blew all of the Jews out of Israel. And Ross is like, yeah, I wasn't really I wasn't fond of that part at all. And then they're all looking at the stars, and then Phoebe shows up, and Phoebe and Rachel finally show up, and they're like, damn, is it the Easter Bunny's funeral in here? And then the great line too of like, I get Santa and Superman, but why is there a giant porcupine here? There's also the subplot too where in another attempt to get Rachel to leave the apartment, Phoebe brings Joey a giant tarantula.
Yeah.
And of course, Joey's afraid of it. And Rachel's like, cool tarantula. And she's like, I had one of these as a kid. And then my cat ate it and it died. And then my cat died. But because then we get that final great scene where Joey's like, Rachel, is it back in the cage? And she's like, yes, Joey, it's back in the cage. You need to grow up, be serious. And he comes out of the thing still dressed as Superman. He's like, I'm not afraid.
And they're like, oh, we need to hide the drumsticks. And they just stick them in the tarantula cage.
Yeah. She's like, it's good. And then they find out that the room that Rachel ends up staying with Joey anyways, because the Phoebe's apartment was rebuilt with only one room rather than two. And she's like, I hear the spirits of my dead grandmother saying, don't leave. And she's like, oh yeah, you're hearing her now, huh? She's like, yes. Rachel's like, okay, fine. But I think I also hear your grandmother saying I can keep the purple chair. And Phoebe's like, I don't hear that one as much. It's just funny nonsense. I like the Friends dynamic between the cast because it's one of those fun shows where like none of them would work as like a single. You need all six of them for it to work.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of like the formula for a lot of sitcoms. You have to have a good group of people that bounce off of each other well. Otherwise, it's gonna fall flat.
Yeah, because there was the Joey spinoff which failed miserably.
I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah, well, Matt LeBlanc's a good actor, but he can't carry the show on his own, especially with that character.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second episode we watched was the one with Christmas in Tulsa, which going into this I forgot was a clip show episode.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off. I'll be honest with you, because I watched them back to back, and then like as the show's going along, it just ran. There was no setup to it either. It just started like redoing the Holiday Armadillo scene. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Because the reason I wanted to talk about this one is because it has one of Chandler's funnier moments in the show. More heartwarming moments, I'd say. But so to keep on with the plot, this was in season 9, and during season 9, there's a subplot where the running joke is Chandler hates his job, but nobody actually knows what Chandler does. I forget, he's got some weird like technical job thing, but like it's like one of those jobs where like you say it and people are like, what the fuck is that? But during the season he ends up getting transferred to the Tulsa division, and has to fly back and forth. But for this episode, the setup is he's going to be gone for Christmas and New Year's, and the whole time they're basically reminiscing on like all the past Christmases and stuff, and so we get a whole bunch of flashbacks to different events throughout the thing. Like we get a whole bunch of funny ones, like it's just a bunch of goofy shit. But the whole time, like we flash between like the Friends cast in Monica's apartment, and then we flash over to Chandler in Tulsa in like this business meeting, and it's basically like a case of like he's like, you get the funny line where he's like, I know it sucks that we're all here working on Christmas, but did you really have to put Mr. Bing sucks on the back of my chair? Which was funny. And then the other lady in the office shows up and she's like, hey guys, there was a Christmas party downstairs. And those assholes don't even realize I stole their fucking ham. And just throws it on the table. I'm just like sitting there like, okay. And Chandler's like, great. Now it's going to smell like ham in here.
I feel like that's not as much of a problem as he was making it out to be.
No. But Chandler's also like, his entire thing is he's just kind of like makes jokes and he's sad all the time. But eventually we get to the actual plot thread of this episode where they do another. So they have this thing where the cast is all there, and they end up. Chandler sends everyone home because he's like, "Fuck it, why bother being here? We have to work on New Year's." He didn't tell anybody they had to work on New Year's, but sure enough, and eventually it ends up just being Chandler and the office lady Wendy, who
was the second prettiest girl in Oklahoma.
Yes, the second, very specifically. And she's basically there because she's like, yeah, I don't have anything else to do. And then very quickly starts coming on to Chandler. And right after he has a phone call with Monica, basically saying like, "Oh yeah, it's just me and this woman." And Monica's like, "Woman? What's going on there?" And of course, she jumps to conclusions immediately. And Chandler's like, "No, we're just working. I sent everyone home, just me." And then immediately she comes on to him in the office. And he's like, "This is exactly what she said would happen."
Yeah, the second they get off the phone, she's like, "Oh, hey, by the way."
But I like the fact that Chandler's like, no, and then just runs off. He's like, no, like, I'm married. And she's like, so I'm married. And he's like, I'm happily married. And she's like,
what's that like?
What's that like? Which I think is still the TV trope's description for the TV trope happily married. I think it's that quote is below it to this day. But she makes a really compelling point. He makes this whole thing about like how he loves his wife and why he would never cheat on her. And then she's like, well, if you love her that much, why are you here with me and not spending Christmas with her? And then we get a whole bunch of flashbacks to Chandler and Monica's relationship, which is entertaining for longtime viewers of the show because Chandler and Monica's relationship was literally based around a joke in season 5 that ended up being so popular they kept it, and then it ended up being like this long-running thing for the rest of the series. But eventually he goes home, and there's a point where they're all outside staring at the snow because it started snowing, and the whole time like Monica's all like, my husband's cheating on me in Tulsa. Great. Now we're going to celebrate Christmas. They're watching the snow, and Monica's like, Wendy's a fat girl name. Just straight up out of nowhere.
Super random.
Yeah. And then Chandler comes home, and it's a whole celebratory thing. And he basically goes like, yeah, I missed you guys. I wanted to be here. And Joey's like, but who did you miss the most? He's like, Monica. And Joey's like, oh, I see. And he's like winking at him. You know exactly what Chandler's thinking. And then it ends with him going like, oh yeah, by the way, she's like, well, how did you hear? I thought you'd get fired if you left. And he's like, oh, that's fine. They couldn't really fire me because I quit. And they were all like, what? But how could you quit? Like, and he's like, oh, I hated my job anyways. This is great. I can find a new job. And he's like, who likes their jobs anyways? And then it comes to them. They're like, well, I like my job. Yeah. Because everyone else in this universe, like, kind of has a good job. Chandler was always the only one who didn't.
Yeah.
Which sets up the plot thread for the rest of the season of Chandler trying to find a new job. But, yeah, it's a fun episode. I probably should have watched it before we chose and picked one that wasn't a clip show.
Well, hey, at least I don't have to feel guilty about the episode for family thing that required a lot of context.
Yeah, because I was kind of like, oh shit, this was not my plan. But
yeah, like the second I put it on, I was like, oh, we're picking right up from where it left off. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, there was some of the flashbacks were funny. Like we get the great scene of like one of the previous Christmas episodes where Phoebe and Rachel are trying to find Monica's hidden Christmas presents. And then they rope Chandler into it really quick, and they find the bag underneath the couch, and they're like, I found one. What is it? It's a dirty sneaker with a note on it that just says, hi losers, would I really hide the presents under the couch? And Chandler, I knew they'd break you. Just dumb shit like that is funny.
Classic.
But yeah, I love Friends Christmas episodes. I like Friends in general.
They were fun. It honestly, like watching the episodes of Seinfeld and Friends, and we're like, man, like maybe I should watch more sitcoms. Because there's a lot of them that I just never bothered with. My main ones have always been like Scrubs and That 70s Show and How I Met Your Mother. Like those are the ones that I like the most. Unless you want to throw Always Sunny in there, then that's like one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, because like for me, it was I watched Friends and then I watched like That 70s Show, and then I watched like animated sitcoms. I watched King of the Hill. I watched The Simpsons, like stuff like that.
Yeah,
I kind of fell out after that though, because I never got into The Office. Like I've just never been able to get into that one.
I tried a couple times. I tried a couple times with that and Workaholics, and I just wasn't able to get behind them.
I watched Scrubs a lot when it was on. Like I think I did a training when I was in JRTC. And during our off time, we had a TV, and like one of the only channels we could get was the one that had Scrubs on. It was just a Scrubs marathon, so I just watched that. And I enjoyed it for the most part. I watched How I Met Your Mother for a little bit. I think what killed that show for me was when it was kind of revealed that the ending sucked, and I kind of lost interest.
I mean, that's just people who can never be sad because like you basically. Do you care?
I mean, I've already read what happened, so it's no use.
Yeah, so like you can't have like that 9-season buildup and be like, oh, who's the person going to be? Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? The whole time, you're not going to be satisfied when that person fight because the show ends when that person is when they meet. The show ends. That's basically where the show is going to end. That's what the whole thing is building to. And you're not going to be satisfied by just and they met and whatever, and then like she dies or whatever, and then that's kind of like the lead into like and now I'm just going to go and be with the girl I'm obsessed with throughout the entire show, and like it made sense to me. Like,
see, I think it might have just been
because even if they didn't do that part of it and she was still alive and everything was fine, people would still be upset about it. People would still be annoyed because what are you gonna like when you're leading up to that kind of like that's like the big like show ending moment? Where do you go from there? There's nothing.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be satisfying. It's just like, oh, there she is. We found her. Show's over.
I think it's a case for me where it's like because I wasn't invested, and right when I started watching it, I found that out. It kind of just killed the mood because the fan base was so obnoxious. I was like, yeah, wasn't invested enough to watch it, so I just kind of let it go.
Yeah, How I Met Your Mother is one of those shows where it's like it's about the journey and not the destination.
Yeah, it didn't help too that there's a lot of Friends vibes there, and I was kind of like, yeah, I'd rather just watch Friends.
I mean, that's a formula that's been in sitcoms for a long time, so
yeah,
I don't know if it's like a specifically Friends thing or a
well, it was kind of
like,
the whole. It was the group
How
of people.
Your Mother is specifically the only ones ripping that off, but
How I Met Your Mother's a little close, just because it's the most similar one, just in the sense that you got the group of friends, and then they take place mostly in a coffee shop / bar thing going on.
Yeah,
it was just a similar vibe. I did
like.
It's funny
too. I was gonna say, what's funny too is I'm pretty sure there was an episode 2 where they like as an experiment were like, let's go hang out at a coffee shop, and they were like, they're sitting there and they're just like, this is lame. Let's go back to the bar.
Well, what's hilarious is before in Friends in flashbacks that you find out that the coffee shop that they hang out in used to be a bar.
That's funny.
It's just one of those things. They're two different shows, and they're kind of time period pieces for their eras.
Yeah, because How I Met Your Mother starts like pretty much the year after Friends ended. So
yeah, well, Friends is funny because Friends actually went with like the time that it took place in. Because it started in '94 and it very much looked like '94, and then by the end, like there's like Disturbed posters on the wall and stuff, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Like at one point, Joey has an N64, and then in another season, he's got a PlayStation. I'm just like, yeah, this is the times, all right.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just very interesting to me, like stuff like that. Like I think when I think How I Met Your Mother, the episode that always comes to mind is the Naked Man episode.
Oh, that name is that episode is infamous because I've told a Naked Man story on here before. I'm pretty sure.
Well, the joke we had the whole time was the whole thing of where it's like works best two out of 3 times.
Yep. No, that was a funny episode.
Barney's of course, Barney's the one it doesn't work for.
Of course. But like that, I don't know. I like that show. There's a lot of fun shenanigans. It's very like kind of cartoony in a lot of ways, similar to Scrubs. I think Scrubs is a little bit more cartoony though.
Yeah, I mean they all kind of are to a degree. It's the thing with sitcoms is like you spend so much time getting invested into one that it's really hard to pick up another one sometimes.
That's kind of where I'm at. Where that's why like I never really got around to be like watching Friends or Seinfeld or and it was only like within the past however many years that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch King of the Hill, and I was like, oh, I get it now. I understand why this show is good.
Well, that was my thing when I watched Friends. When I rewatched Friends like a couple years ago for like the first time in forever when the Blu-ray set came out. Um, Rewatching that, I was like, "Holy shit! I get all of these jokes now."
Hmm.
So it's like one of those things.
For sure. So yeah, I think it's probably a good time to move into our last one.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This is a show that came kind of out of nowhere and has persisted ever since.
Yep. And it's one of those weird ones too, where like you think more people watch it, and then like you meet a lot of people who are like, "Oh yeah, I've never seen that show. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it." That's just
Most people, like I'm in the case where like I've never watched it all the way through, but I've seen episodes every now and then. Like there's been cases where there's been nothing on to watch, so I'll just put on a channel and I'm like, oh, there's an Always Sunny marathon going on. Yeah, I'll put that on in the background and that'll be fine.
yeah. Like I personally love the flavor of comedy that Always Sunny goes for. I know it's not for everybody because like the whole concept of like people say like, oh, Seinfeld is a show about nothing. Always Sunny is a show about terrible people.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Friends is also kind of a show about terrible people when you really think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen enough Friends to be able to say definitively, but I'm pretty sure we know which one is worse.
Oh no, yeah, it's much more extreme and Always Sunny, but the friend you watch Friends, you'll get what I mean.
Yeah, that's fair. So it's always or it was a very sunny Christmas. Is that what it's called? I believe.
Yes.
It was a two-parter for I think it was what capped off season 6, and throughout there is a kind of like a joint storyline that we've got Charlie and Max plot thread, and then we have Dee and Dennis's plot thread.
Yeah, and I've watched the show enough, but just to clarify, these are the main characters basically of the show. Those four, and then Danny DeVito.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of other regulars that pop in and out, but those are the main ones.
Because like I haven't watched Always Sunny in a while. Like, is there a definitive main character to the show?
Not really.
Okay, because from all the memes, you'd think Charlie Day is the main character, but from watching this, I'm like, I don't know. He's kind of just there. He's one of the many.
He's like the fan. He's like the caboose. He's like the fan favorite.
Oh yeah, because he's the fucking meme with the fucking charts on the wall that's become a fucking internet at this point.
Yeah, he is very memeable. That's for sure. So like it starts out with like with Mac and Charlie just kind of like decorating the bar for Christmas and everything, and then Dee and Dennis walk in. They're like, nope, fuck this. We're not doing Christmas. We hate Christmas because I don't know if you're familiar with the lore, so to speak. So Frank was Frank's their dad, but he's not their dad. He raised them, and they all thought that he was their dad for the longest time until season 2 or 3, where they discovered that his mom was actually dating multiple guys. And when she found out she was pregnant, she went with the one that she thought would be the most financially stable. But he's not their actual father. So pretty much ever since that reveal, they just call him Frank, and they don't refer to him as their dad anymore. So like it gets into like, oh, they hate Christmas because he would do what he called a fake out, where he would find out everything that they wanted for Christmas, and then he would buy them for himself and get them nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's pretty shitty.
See, and, if it was any person other than Danny DeVito, I'd be like, wow, this character sucks. And then it's like, oh, it's Danny DeVito. Okay.
Yeah. And then it turns out this is a tradition that he has held onto and he has not stopped, because he ends up showing up with a very expensive purse that Dee likes and a Lamborghini, which is apparently what Dennis has always wanted.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, these are mine, and I'm going to fill this purse with cheese balls and like destroy the windows of this Lamborghini. Because fuck it, I'm Danny DeVito.
He literally just plays himself. That's the funniest part about it.
And basically, like the through line for both plots is that Charlie and Mac are trying to like recapture the classic Christmas spirit for them. So they're kind of like going through their past Christmas and trying to relive it. And then Dee and Dennis are essentially doing a Christmas Carol thing with Frank.
Sort of. They're
trying to do a Christmas Carol thing with Frank because his old business partner, who he had screwed and stolen a bunch of money from, apparently he thinks is dead, but is in fact not dead. So they try to like play that out as like the ghost of Christmas or the ghost of Jacob Marley kind of thing. Doesn't end up working out for them, but we'll get to that. So I think it started off with Charlie and Mac, where they go to Mac's house, or Mac's mom's house rather, and they're going through like his childhood room, and they're looking through all like the toys and stuff that he got for Christmas over the years and everything. And they end up finding this robot. They're like, oh sweet, this is one of my favorite gifts I ever got. They're like, oh, there's this tape with it, and they pop the tape in, and it's Christmas of '85. It's them opening their gifts, and it's like like the regular like Christmas home video thing. Until you hear somebody shouting from upstairs, and you realize that they were in somebody else's house stealing their Christmas gifts, and they had lied to Mac about it and told him that it was like a Christmas tradition that people did in Philly.
Yeah.
So that kind of like spoiled Mac's enthusiasm. He's like, oh shit, we were just stealing other people's Christmas gifts on Christmas Day. Like that sucks. And then they're like, all right, we're gonna go to Charlie's mom's house and we're gonna go and try to recapture it there.
This scene was fucking ridiculous.
And at first it seems like it's okay. She's got everything's decorated, there's lights everywhere. She's like, she's in the kitchen making
you
cookies.
brought the vodka. Good.
You brought the vodka. I just whenever we get a bottle of vodka, like around the holidays, I always do that. It's like a glug, 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 drinking at Christmas. I don't know.
He tells the story about the Santa Clauses.
Yeah. He's like, the Santa Clauses are coming. He's like, what, Santa Clauses? What do you mean? There's only one. And he's like, oh no, it's like this is a real Christmas tradition. Because every year I would sit in the living room and wait, and every now and then the doorbell would ring and there'd be a Santa Claus and he'd give me a gift and he'd go and cheer my mom upstairs in her room for a while.
And then another one would show up, and I like how they progressively just get worse and less convincing.
Yep. Eventually it's just like, they're not even trying anymore. There's just like an Asian dude in suspenders or another little person, funny enough.
The elf. We also didn't mention there was also a joke in Friends about handing out cards with donations to people.
Yep. Yeah. Which that was funny that the through lines there.
Yeah, those ones weren't even addressed to the Friends cast. It was more Chandler like, I don't have a job.
Yep. So basically this is the point where Charlie realizes like, oh, it turns out my mom was a prostitute and she was banging all these dudes for my Christmas presents.
The thing with the elf is the funniest part too, because he just comes in, washes his hands, and he's like, "Merry Christmas" with no pants on, and walks back upstairs.
Yeah, with the Christmas vodka.
Yep. Meanwhile, Charlie's just fucking sniffing glue over there.
Yep, the beginning of it all, I guess.
I liked his idea, like his whole thing where he's like, I didn't always get the presents, but I sure had fun with them.
Yeah, right. He's just sniffing the glue. So then Matt kind of drops the ball on him, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" And they just leave. And just like, "All right, well, Christmas is ruined." So they're like, "All right, we're gonna go and try to make things right." So they go to the house of the kid that Mac's family stole the robot from, and he answers the door and like basically like they go through this whole thing. It's like, "Oh, like you came and you showed me a gift that I was supposed to get 20 years ago, and you're not giving it back."
Yeah.
And it was just this whole thing.
They kind of missed the point.
Yeah, missed the assignment. They were like, "Oh no, we're not giving it back. We just, wanted to say we're sorry." It's just like, no, it's not how that works, bud. You know what I thought was really funny too? Because in the very next scene, they're going to the toy store because they were going to go and buy like the newest hot gift and give it to him for his kid's Christmas or whatever, kind of make it up. And I thought it was really funny because in the background over in there at the toy store, there is a sign for Halo Wars. I'm guessing that was current at the time.
Yeah.
The guy that they were talking to, whose house they went to, is the guy who went on to play Master Chief in the Paramount series.
Huh.
So I thought that was a funny kind of coincidence that they had that whole scene with him, and then immediately there's just Halo stuff in the background.
It's the Halo series that nobody likes. Yes.
I mean, I kind of liked it, but you know,
Halo fans definitely didn't, though. Like from what
whatever.
The discourse.
Yeah, I mean, I heard a lot of people talking smack about it.
The only scene of that I saw was the fact that Master Chief takes his helmet off in the first episode, which everyone was mad about, and then
the guy can't keep his helmet on at all times. It doesn't make sense.
I don't know. The scene that I saw where I was like, "Ooh," was where they tried to replicate the first person, and it somehow looked worse than Halo 1.
Yeah,
that was
a lot of butt shots in that show too.
Yeah, he fucking gets fucking laid in like an episode. I'm like, what is this show? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can understand why like diehards would be upset about it, but like, I thought it was fine.
I just don't have any nostalgia for Halo, so I was just like, what is this show even supposed to be?
Well, exactly. I mean, I have nostalgia for Halo, but I never took it seriously. So like, I didn't have any issues with what they were doing with it. It didn't bother me. I didn't read any of the expanded universe, so it didn't bother me at all. Yeah, whatever.
I thought Halo Legends was a better thing, the anime thing, but
I haven't watched that. I've only watched the other live action thing they did years before. But anyways, they go through the whole thing. They're trying to get like the newest hot toy for him, which turns out is also a robot.
I like that line where they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll take that." And like, it's sold out. They're like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "It's the day before Christmas. It's sold out."
Yeah, and they like have this whole argument with him about it, and eventually they just storm off. And they're like talking about their plan about how they're gonna handle everything. And like as they're walking by, they see Santa.
Oh yeah, what the fuck was this scene?
So fun fact, the first time I ever showed this show to my cousin, I was like, oh, we're going to watch the Christmas one. That's a fun one. And I had totally forgotten about this whole scene and the whole elf scene. I forgot about that too, but he might have been like 11 at the time. So Charlie walks up to Santa, like just kind of cuts everybody in line and just sits on Santa's lap.
And Santa's like, oh, where's your son? And he's like, oh, is he? And then he drops the R word. We won't go there.
Yeah.
But
but then he's like doing the whole Santa thing with him, like trying to just be like, whatever.
And Charlie's like, you fucked my mom?
Did you fuck my mom, Santa? It's just like, and he's like so taken aback, like, oh, like, did I fuck your mom? Like he wasn't sure.
Like he keeps getting progressively more and more deranged. He's like, why was there an elf there?
Yeah. And then
it becomes a fucking horror movie.
Yeah, then he like tears open Santa's neck with his teeth.
Yeah, and the fucking music that plays there is great because it's just that that's going on. There's crying children everywhere.
Yeah, Mac accidentally knocked out one of the kids' moms. He's like, "Oh shit, kid, I'm sorry." Like,
yeah, that's just kids crying. Santa's bleeding out on the thing.
Yeah. And then eventually,
I watched that scene. I was like, "What the?" And that's not even the most what the fuck thing in this episode, by the way.
Nope. We're gonna finish up the Charlie Mack stuff, and then we'll get to the Dia Dennis stuff.
Yeah, because that whole scene though, I was like, "What the?" I love this line though. He's like, "You fucked my mom."
Yeah, it's just like, he gets more and more like unhinged as he says it. Like, that seems. I don't know.
Meanwhile, all the parents are like covering the kids' ears and being like, "Oh no."
All the kids are traumatized.
Yeah, that would do it.
And then I think from that point they're just like, fuck Christmas, we're going back to the bar.
Yeah.
And then all right, so we'll move over to the D Dennis storyline where they're as we said before, they're trying to do a Christmas Carol thing. So they pick up Frank's old business partner, and who is apparently or we're led to believe, a born again Christian.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he's totally about salvation and such. And like he agrees to go along with it, is like as long as he could talk to Frank about Jesus and try to convert him. And so they go through the whole like beginning part where like they got like the fog machine and they try to do the whole Frank thing. And his first reaction is, "Oh fuck, something is on fire," and he throws a chair through the window.
Yeah,
which I mean, fair reaction. And then eventually they come in, it's like, "Oh no, we're just doing a Christmas Carol thing," and they pop in a tape, and it's just like one of their Christmas mornings where they open up a bunch of empty boxes and they're like, "Oh, we get nothing." And then he like makes a comment about their pillhead mother.
Yeah.
Which is something that happens a lot. And basically he's just like, "No, that was hilarious. I loved that. It was great. He actually taught me that trick." And he's like, "I've been doing it for years." Like, and they're like, "All right, we're moving on to the Christmas present because this isn't working." So they go to the company that Frank had founded initially. And they're like, "We're going to have you hide here so we can hear all these different people talking shit about you and how horrible you are." And he convinces them to sew him into the couch.
Yeah, I like his reasoning. He's like, "Yeah, I do this at home all the time. I get to catch Charlie doing, there all the time." They're like, "Why would you want to even watch that?" He's like, "I don't know."
And that's especially weird too, because at this point in time, and actually for a pretty vast majority of the show, they're fairly certain that Frank is his dad.
Oh, is that another?
It turns out not to be true later, but like for the majority of the show, they think Frank is his biological father.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's weird in multiple levels.
Oh, it's yeah, many levels throughout the whole show. But yeah, he's like, "All right, we'll sew you into the couch," and like they flash forward to the Christmas party happening, and they're like really aggressively trying to get people to talk shit about him, and they're like,
"Yeah," everyone's like, "Do you
know
guys
who that
is?"
Is? He's been retired for like 10 years. We don't know who that is. Like,
I love too the one guy who's like, "Is that a guy in the couch?" Like, that's not important right now.
Yeah, there's no guy on the couch. What are you talking about?
He's like,
say something bad about Frank. He's like, "Who's Frank?" He's the guy on the couch.
So there's a guy on the couch. He's like, "It doesn't matter." And then Frank emerges from the couch. And he's fucking butt naked. I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, picture the rhino scene in Ace Ventura 2, and that's basically what happens here, but it's Danny DeVito instead of Jim Carrey.
Yeah, coming out of a leather couch.
Yep. And yeah, because apparently he didn't think about how hot it would be in there, especially in an office Christmas party where obviously the heat's gonna be pumping. So it's probably pretty fucking hot in there.
Yeah.
But actually, fun fact. Apparently, this is like the one scene that Danny DeVito was like really uncomfortable doing. Like at first, he was all gung ho for it. Like, "Oh, that's gonna be hilarious. We're gonna do that." And then, like when the time actually came, he was like, "There's sure a lot of extras here that I don't know personally. This is kind of weird." Like I kind of don't want to crawl out of this couch naked in front of all these people. But
yeah,
he ended up doing it anyway.
When he came out naked, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, yeah. Okay.
And obviously that part of the plan didn't work out. So they ended up taking him to the cemetery. Trying to do like the end bit with the Christmas future. And he's just like, "this isn't even accurate. I'm not going to be buried. When I die, you can just throw me in the trash. Who gives a shit?" And eventually they're just like, "You know what? This sucks. You suck. You're terrible to us. You should give us fun stuff and money and stuff." And which pretty much just like cements Frank's whole like, "Nope, that just you never learned the lesson I was trying to teach you about earning what you get, and you still suck, so you're still getting nothing, and I'm out of here." And then they leave the old guy there.
Yeah, because they're like, "You didn't do anything." Like,
yeah, because he just kept going on about Jesus the whole time. As you will. And then they end up going back to the bar. They all end up converging, and they're like, "Yeah, I know, we're kind of with you now. Like, tear out all this Christmas shit. We don't want this Christmas shit anymore." And then they get a phone call that says Frank's dead. He was killed. They go to the hospital and he's just chilling, eating pudding or whatever. And he's like, "Yeah, no, I faked my death. I told them to say that I was dead because you wouldn't have come otherwise. But I had a near-death experience, so now I want to be better and everything." He's like, and he goes into this like fucking
Rudolph the
Rankin Bass fever dream.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, fucking the horror movie, basically.
Yeah, I love the whole like baiting part of that, where like the little dentist elf from Rudolph is there for some reason, and he's like, "Oh, Frank, you need to know what Christmas is all about, and this and that." And he's just, he's being Frank, so he's just being a little shit. And then they're just staring at each other silently. And then the elf just spits in his face. It just like come out completely out of nowhere. Like the first time I watched that, it caught me so off guard. I just fucking lost it laughing.
Yeah, and then he gets dismembered by all the cast.
Yep, in claymation, and as him kind of realizing, like, oh, if I push them too far, this might actually happen. So maybe I should dial it back.
Charlie murdered a man earlier in the episode, so
we don't know he's dead.
It wasn't shown.
For sure, at least. They left before they could get confirmation or charges.
It was still pretty bad.
Like, there was a lot of blood. There was a lot of blood. So basically, like, they get back, or no, because they kind of have this realization. Well, after he tells a story about how, like, oh, like, we fucked up on Christmas because we should have all just been together doing together things instead of splitting off on our own and relying on our parents to give us good Christmases. So basically they say, "Screw you, Frank, we're out of here." And they decide to go caroling at that one guy's house again at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah. Like, is they're like, it's Christmas Eve. Like, no, it's been Christmas for 4 hours or 6 hours, or whatever it was.
Yeah, I love the scene where they're like doing the caroling and they open up the windows like it's 4:00 in the fucking morning, and like him and all of his neighbors all just start throwing shit at them and yelling at them. And I'm like, this is incredibly accurate. I've actually seen this happen before.
And I love the fact that they just continue to keep caroling out of spite until they see their car get towed away, and then they're like, "Oh wait."
Yep. It was pretty great. So then they're like, all right, fine. They had to walk back to the bar. They're like, all right, this settles it. Christmas sucks. Let's just go throw rocks at trains. And they walk into the bar, and Frank is there, and so is the partner guy, and they've set up all the Christmas stuff and more, and it's super Christmassy. And he's like, "I told you I had a change of heart. I'm a changed man. Here's your Lamborghini. Here's your fancy bag. I bought you guys that robot you wanted," which they're not going to give to that guy, by the way.
Yeah, of course not.
And basically, like, I feel good about this. Giving is great, and I love it. Only for it to completely turn around because he's like, "Oh, my old partner, I'm so sorry about everything." Like, and he's like, "Oh, I actually have something for you too, Frank." And he pulls out a gun, and it turns out that he was lying the whole time, and he was just waiting for the end. And he steals all the shit and then blasts them with a snow machine.
Yep.
And yeah, so no Lamborghini, no fancy bag, no robot. Everyone gets all that shit taken. He steals it all. And we end the episode with all of them just throwing rocks at trains. Getting back to basics, what they do every year.
Yeah. It's really funny how out of all of these episodes, the only ones that end on good notes are the Friends ones.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny.
It's about right.
Yeah, because F is for Family definitely doesn't end on a good note. Seinfeld's kind of just a joke ending. It's like, whatever. And then, this one is just like, couldn't have happened to better.
The end.
It couldn't have happened to better people.
Yeah, this is true.
It's funny because, like, in the case of like F is for Family, you kind of felt bad at the end. The end of Sunny, I was like, yeah, they deserved it. Let's be real here.
Yeah, you don't deserve a Lamborghini.
Like, you guys all suck. Like, you kind of like deserve this.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I still love I love the satiric nature of Always Sunny.
Yeah, it's definitely it's crazy because it's still going, but like it's very much a time period. Like the Mac and Charlie stuff is hilarious because they are just fucking bro culture in the corner over there the whole time.
That's also one of my favorite like running gags of the show is like they never like blatantly like state it, but like everyone's always behind technologically in that show.
Yeah,
Like we're in Blu-ray age and they're still fucking whipping out VHSs. Like there's stupid shit like that.
because the VHS tape has got like it's like a physical thing that just is like makes sense, and then like I don't know, it's harder to portray I guess with a disc.
Mm-hmm.
It's also funnier. A VHS tape's just funnier.
Yeah, this is true. Especially because it's heavily implied that they use the same exact tape every time they do something. Because every time they do something else with it, you always get like little clips of the previous ones because they didn't do it right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Funny. No, it was entertaining though. It's definitely a show that it kind of fits that mold of like you don't really need a ton of background to jump into a Sunny episode.
Not really. No, once you get past like season 2, everything's pretty much established as much as it needs to be.
Yeah, because I will say, like with Friends, like you can for the most part jump into a Friends episode, but there is a lot of ongoing plot threads per season that do make it a little difficult to jump in anywhere without some prior knowledge. Seinfeld, you can literally jump in anywhere and it's whatever.
Yeah, with Always Sunny, with Always Sunny, the best way to tell the passage of time is to look at the side characters that pop in from time to time, and because like the running joke with all those characters is that for every encounter they have with these people, their lives get worse and worse. Like there's a character that gets introduced in like season 1 or season 2, and he's a priest. You know, he's doing well in life. He's a priest. You know, following his faith, and by the point we're at now in the show, he is a homeless drug addict who does questionable things for money for his drugs.
Jesus.
And yeah, that's just one example. He like smokes meth in their bathroom and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just one example. And that's like the best way to kind of tell the passage of time with that show is just look at how bad off everyone around them is.
Yeah. That makes sense. No, I liked them all though. It was fun. It made me realize like how much I like sitcoms because this has been such an anime heavy year that I have not actually really done anything else media wise.
Same. I mean, that's kind of why I've been like really enjoying my current run through Scrubs is because I am kind of like rediscovering that.
No, it's good. Like next year, we're definitely not going as hard with the anime challenge next year.
No, I will not be taking it very seriously. I'm just gonna be watching what I want to watch, and outside of that, I'm gonna be watching other shit.
Yeah, like I think Alex literally said yesterday that like she can't wait till this is over so she can stop watching trash, and I'm like, okay.
I mean, there are other good things out there. She doesn't have to exclusively watch trash.
I don't question her madness. She can do it. If it works for her, it works for her. Yeah. No, it'll be fun though. Next year we got a whole bunch of stuff planned. Obviously, next week we're gonna be just kind of recapping the year. Yeah, we got a bunch of fun stuff for next year planned, and yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I guess now, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays, Danny. Whatever you celebrate, and I guess until next time, once again, thank you for listening to Geek Addicts. You can find us on all the major podcasting platforms. Be sure to check us out over on the Superpod Network, superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site. Find a whole bunch of different awesome shows, videos, blogs, whole bunch of fun stuff. But anyways, guys, once again, thank you for listening, and we will see you all later.
Have a good one.